Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift Community Live broadcast of the WTRL Zwift Racing League, race number 4, Greatest London Flat, TTT time. Second broadcast, third broadcast, need to count Nathan, of the day. Nathan Guerra, Dave Toll next to me. And so far today, we've seen this course before. We kind of got an idea. It acts like it's flat, and then it really kicks you in the rear, the back end of the course, and you end up kind of in the middle of this situation where you thought you were going into something, and next thing you know, you're part of something totally different. And I think the teams that have really been practicing the new AI, this one, it really has brought that out, at least from what I've seen. We've seen a lot of disorganization from those who are pushing avatars, where they're trying to get in places where they're not supposed to be, and then the ones who are really learned how to not push the team around them, know how to slot in with the TTT, have done the practice with the new AI. It seems to me it's really paid off because we've seen a lot of low watt per kilogram taken out, higher watt per kilograms on average across a lot of the top teams.
Yeah, I would have to say the margin of error is much, much smaller out there. There's no doubt. You see a lot more of the teams riding around, even in Premier League that we did earlier today. You see a lot of the teams blobbing up, and I would say only the best of teams were able to get into the most efficient single file formation and really nail that. So it's going to be a work in progress. And actually, if you think back to season 1 of ZRL, the teams that had WTRL experience, they excelled. I mean, they were just heads and tails above the teams that hadn't been doing time trialing. It's almost like we hit a bit of a reset button. No doubt. It was, in the Women's Premier League now, we have 4 teams tied for the overall lead now at the middle part of the season. 4 teams on 52 points. So
Wow.
there's some real parity. Yeah, I mean, that's an incredible point to start the second half of the season. And we're going to jump in with the women here as well, Nathan. And I know, and I have heard a lot of folks commenting, appreciating the fact that you've been jumping in with the other races as well. And I know that we're excited. I think you're planning on doing that again today, and I think it's great. So we're going to look at a lot of racing today in the team time trialing format. 31K, right? 164 meters of climbing. Nathan, whoever named this course was out of their mind. It is not the greatest London flat. It should be the greatest London hilly. But it's
Yeah,
not
it
really
is
hills.
pretty. I mean,
Yeah.
it's got, what is it, 140? I mean, I remember OJ earlier this afternoon, OJ Borg jumped on with the EMEA coverage, and he was like, is that right? 147 meters? Wait, 147 meters? That he kept on saying it over and over again. Like, wait, that's a little bit up and down, I think is what he was taken back by a little bit, because it's not flat. It's definitely got a little bit of up and down. And it's the kind of up and downs that people can punch over. So it isn't like just set a rhythm. It's more like attack. And then it can, if you're not ready for it, you're not communicating, boom, there's a gap. And that's the worst thing you can have in a team time trial.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically in a team time trial, you're already in an interval set, right? I mean, if you have, let's say you've got 6 riders on your team, let's just say 5, you lose 1. So, every 2 to 3 minutes, you're making a 30-second effort. That's brutal to do. And then you add in the fact that this course, again, there's no sustained climb at all. You never really, what would you say? The biggest chunk you take is 5 meters in any one climb sector out there. So
Well,
it really is
Surrey
interesting.
goes for a little. I mean, you
Surrey is
got
a little more. You're
yeah, a
right.
little
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
more, but that's about it. Like, really, it's
Yeah.
Surrey, and you get set up for that, the main climb. That one is so deceiving too, because you climb hard for like that upper gradient of 4, 5, 6, and then it's 2 for the longest time, just 2%. And you're like, if you're the one leading it out, you're like, when is this going to end? Because you try and pull as much speed over the top and not get into a rhythm. You try and like, at least for me, when I'm in a TTT and I'm pulling, I'm like, all right, my job here is to get us over the top with as much speed as possible and actually come over with more of a punch so that everybody gets rolling quicker. And it can be just it's a mind game, that climb actually. So that's really the crux in a lot of ways there, as well as leaving the underground, that punch at like 15% gradient, those 2 points on course. I think everybody's really burned a lot of matches at that point, and I think that's really where people are like, when is this going to end? There's some serious pain cave suffering going on at that part of the course, that's for sure. And we'll be watching for that today.
Yeah, the finale when you're making your way past Parliament Hill, that last K to the finish line, it feels like that goes on forever as well. I mean, you're just
Yeah.
going right down the barrel of the Payne Tunnel at that point. So it's a great course. We've raced here before. It was the eighth race for the community, eighth race, or the final race for Premier. There was a lot of drama out on this course, and it really is a fantastic course for teams that love their team time trialing. It's challenging in every metric. It's certainly different than racing around the perfectly flat or nearly perfectly flat Tempest Fugit. This really, I mean, you're going to find out whether your team is one of the best team time trial teams in the world or not today. That's a good way to put it.
100%. Well, let's go ahead and jump down to the images because I want to give a big shout out to WTRL as well, everything that they're doing. Some new, quicker data being tried out there today, and it seems to be doing a really good job so far. We might be seeing some pretty close to in real time changes on the data. I'm excited to see if it'll pull through. A couple of little cool tests that we're doing out here today, and we're jumping right on in with Royal City. We'll talk about the standings on screen as we watch the images, just to make sure that we get through all of the riders. Always want to make sure that we're really highlighting them, as that's where it's at. This is going to be that Royal City team. We've talked a lot about them, Dave. They have shown up and really... Yeah, they've really been recently on the radar, I think, and been showing up and making their name, especially... when we were on there was the Beach Island Loop, and we saw a couple of Royal Cities getting involved at the front end of that race. So it was really cool to see what they were up to in that race number 2. So Frango's here now, as you can see, as well as Coates, and then it's going to be Justin Nett, familiar names from this Royal City racing team for sure out of Canada.
Yeah, I really have enjoyed watching them rise up to the occasion here. So 3 riders early here is going to be tough. My heart definitely goes out to them. Getting a look here at Team Riot has been perfect up till now. They haven't missed a step along the way. So they'll be our last team out on the course here today. This is going to be a long 30. Well, they're down to 21K to go. Agawatt, they're sitting in second right now, as you can see over here, 55 points, 51 for Krajan Galopin. Agawatej, the sister team, they're 47 points. Sisu, I Race Like a Girl do. And they're tied, actually. You can see 4th and 5th, deadlock there. So a lot of exciting racing to look forward to. 20 points for the top team, 19 for second out here today as we use our standard scoring procedure.
Let's go ahead and jump on over to the standings for some of the other categories. We'll jump through the first 3 or 4 teams that are out on course in the A's, and then we'll jump over to the B's in just a moment. But as far as the standings go in the B category as well, Herd of Skipper Butterflies there at 58 points, 3 ahead of Dutch Diesel Cycling Atomic Spice in the B category. HB Racing Honeybees there at 52, Cryogen Mary Blanc, Vivo Divas. This is pretty tight at the top, only a 10-point spread there between 1st and 5th, actually. Fearless Furiosas there, followed up by Les Watts Sisters. Then it's going to be Spinning and Buns, Herd of Monarch Butterflies, and Cicero Like a Girl Freya. That's the situation in the B category. And then the C category, Dave, it looks like ATB Racing Hive is kind of walking away with it.
Yeah, they're channeling that Riot team, right? 60 points. That's a perfect score at this point. Let's see if they can keep that rolling, or if the Drafting Dinos C from WTRL, World Tactical Racing League. So they got it. 2 directions to look. They're coming for the Hive, but right behind them is the Revo Doves. That's a big difference. Doves and bees. So 52 there for the 3rd place team right now. Les Watts Sisters, they are at 51. So you can see this is stacking up really interesting. 53, 2, 1, 50 for Z Tsunami, who are sitting in 5th right now. CCNS, the Merry Cranksters at 43. And then you can see the Herd of Sea Otters at 40. 39 is another tie for the mighty No Drama Llamas. We love them up in Canada as well. I think... before I speak, they're probably not all Canadian. We'll have to check in. We have an inside source there. Les Watts Sisters sitting with 39 points at Cryogen Obese. That's how things sit as we start today's team time trial for the C women. So Lederer is the rider here. You can see the A, so that's going to be the A group that we've got here. 10K in, and they are moving quite nicely. And Nathan, they've got the entire 6-rider squad. So that's the other, if you're just joining us here, as you see the Canadian rider Ulrich here, the teams start with 6. They That's you will see that this is a course where raw wattage is king or queen. And so teams are going to tend to get away from the Billy Goat Climber type riders and go for the big watt monster, wattage cottage type riders out here. And this is one of the few days where big is beautiful, is good. Because typically in this sport, it's the lightweight riders that do so well on the climb. So this is a course that suits the punchers, as Nathan was saying earlier. First splits coming in at 12:24, Waddy Inc. SK, Core Sports with a 12:39. Pretty close there.
This is going to be Core Sports actually right now. They're having a solid ride, it looks like. And but they are being chased pretty quickly here by Waddy Inc. Waddy Inc. did bring back a solid, very early on too, 15 seconds. You can already see Waddy Inc. here only 40 seconds back. So pretty fast times being set in here by the Waddy Inc. team. We'll see if they're here to show. Wow. But now, as you can see, inside out there with a 12:01, we're starting to see as it goes on. That's how it's going to go, though. We're going to see the cream rising to the top here. But great to see the Coors Sports here. Just want to highlight this team. They haven't got a lot to mention as of recently out here, but we always like to jump in with a few of our teams and really feature them. And it says Core Sports, more than great women's triathlon, cycling, and running clothing actually is who they're sponsored by. That's the sponsor name actually. Very cool. It's actually French for heart and the root word for courage we're seeing. So nice. That's where this Core Sports is coming from. And
I've got
it says like all American team as far as the ladies go though here, except for Ulrich.
You know what though? I was just gonna say there's a Canuck in the mix. So Amy Farrell, Hannah, Jacqueline Ma, who we were in with, but there you go, Nathan. Great job. That's going to be Lisa Ulrich there. Samantha Davies and Victoria Lederer. I love this team. They got good spirit out here. And what a great name, huh? The root word for courage. That
absolutely
works.
Awesome. Very.
I love
their. I love the spirit of it. So now Waddy Inc. This is a familiar name. That's for sure. They've showed up on the scene really with the splash last year, coming out of the winter and into the spring. And as you can see here, Tilburn toward the front. They've been recruiting like crazy, it seems like, and they've always had a little bit of spunk when it comes to the style. And you can see they've got the fashionistas, I would say, because they're pretty matching here, Dave. You know, of course, if Anna were on board, she would have all kinds of things to say about the differences. She likes to have things being very unison, but I will sign off on a little bit of discrepancy between them all. And you see the ride-ons dropping on them? Good to see. This is a really, really well-organized team at this point. They've already brought back 25 seconds with Tilburn here, leading out 5.3 watts per kilogram. Solid pull here coming from Tilburn.
Yeah, man. Style watts, slippery watts. This team is, I love Waddy Inc. Nathan, they also, they're one of these brands that has really recognized the strength in supporting women's cycling and finding athletes who are living their dream out there. And there's plenty of triathletes and cyclists. It's one of those brands that's on a great trajectory right now. And you just have to love seeing that. You know, it's another interesting point, Nathan, is the clothing brands that are looking to find their identity. A lot of them you see supporting esports teams out of the United Kingdom as well. This team has some big names on it. Christine Grant, Emily Arcuri, Kristen White, Christine Banks-Smith, Megan Granich, and the Canadian on the team that you were just with a moment ago, Melissa Tilburn there. So that's Waddy Inc. Racing that we're looking at, another one of our powerhouse A squads.
Yeah,
I noted sorry, Nathan, to talk over you.
You're all good.
The No Drama Llamas, right? They are Canadian and American. So I said they were all Canadian, but then I immediately corrected myself. But now I know because I've got my inside source telling me that it's a mix of North Americans.
Did she yell it at you? Did you get yelled at from the basement on the trainer?
No, one of the
team assistants told me. We could probably hear them yelling at you if we really wanted to right now. Like we could actually, she could yell it at you and say, "Shut up and go away," because I'm trying to race my bike.
They're in the middle of it right now.
They're right in the middle of it. Leave me alone. I'm trying to pedal. But we are seeing
look at this split. But look at this galloping 12 flat, 1 second quicker than inside out,
Oh,
Nathan.
it's
We got
great. And
ourselves
inside out, this is something I want to highlight here because not a team I'm actually familiar with and new to my, definitely new to my radar. And where are they in? I want to figure out where they're at actually in the team standings as well. Inside Out are currently 7th place, 41 points. They are in a battle to try and take down Awesome AF. They're trying to hold off Wadi Inc. Wadi Inc., they are doing that today. They've gotten their team time trial down, it looks like, a little bit. This is going to be Andrea Miller, it looks like. Laura Bailey. It's going to be Carrie Merritt. And then we've got Gabby Eddy here, as well as Lori Pridham. Lori Pridham, level 38. Gabby Eddy is actually level 40. And this looks like a mixture of Canadian and American riders as well. Very experienced, actually, riders, though. Level 45, Carrie Merritt. Looking at level 20 there with Laura Bailey. And then it's going to be Andrea Miller, who looks like a level 50, but she rides in the dirt, so she gets big kudos from me as I am seeing the mountain biker in the picture here. She's got 194 races, Miller, as she takes the pole toward the front here, 159 beats per minute. Now backing off as Merritt now takes over as well. And they're closing down on Wadi Inc. with a little bit of punches, it looks like. This is going to be a battle all the way through for these spots. We'll see if they can take down some of those top teams, though, as we see Riot and Agawatt really coming through with the times now.
Yeah. And look at, Nathan, right now when you look at Inside Out here, this team is cracking the code in front of our eyes. Imagine them with that stethoscope and turning that knob as it starts to rain. No surprise in London. They are very close to being into that nearly perfect formation here. See how they're right there. They're on the cusp of it. So I have a lot. So again, I'm like you. I'm just picking up on this team, but guess what? They've arrived. They are not on my radar. They're a team that I'm going to be watching closely here as they come up on the midway point. Again, for everybody just joining us out there in the world of Zwift Community Live, first off, thanks. Second, 31K in Greatest London Flat, they call this course, but we've had a chance to talk about it's not all that flat. There's call it about 150 meters of climbing throughout the 31K out here, and they are just about Team Inside Out now. Another team, most of the squads are going to be made up of a mix of Canadians and Americans. Almost every team, that's the case here as we're into the Americas East. These are the A women, and this is going to be Dee Maloney that we're looking at now, again, part of the Inside Out team. New split in, 11:51, so that's a little quicker than right. This is going to be an absolute Donnybrook, Nathan. So 11:51 is the fastest time from Agawatt.
Not expecting that at all. What a ride from Agawatt today. Though, okay, I was expecting Riot to be, show up and just put a stamp on things, right? And just be like, bam, on the scene. But at the same time, there's been this creeping, in the corner there going, no, Agawatt has been, sitting there going, I'm watching, waiting to pounce. And this, I think, is going to be one of their days because they have been right there every time here. And Agawatt here, they've also got the style to go with it. They've really been making a splash when it comes to the solo shows with how they show up on the scene. Look good, race good kind of a thing. And I'm loving what Agawatt is up to. And now they're not just looking good, they're also racing good at 1 second up on Riot. We're going to have a battle on Royale in our hands in this race on Greatest London Flat between those two. And it's not out here as well. It's only 10 seconds to these other two teams. Inside Out, it's 10 seconds to Agawatt. And there's plenty of landscape left to work with.
Yeah, Agawatt is now officially a brand almost as big as Roots coming out of Canada, man. Agawatt is crushing it, and it's a movement of the people as well. They've got multiple teams out here. This 11:51. So Team Riot, to be fair, we haven't checked in with them yet. Now, they were the last team to start. The teams, in Premier, it was 1 minute intervals. Is that the same here? I apologize for not knowing, but I will find out because
I believe it's 1 minute intervals.
matters.
Yes, 1 minute.
So you'll know then that they're going to be chasing. If you see them making a catch out here, you know that they're on a tremendous day because they're chasing basically the second fastest team, and that's based on the performance up till now. So obviously in racing, you have to prove it every single week in the ZRL. So we're now jumping in with Angela Quick. This is Abske Finesse or Awesome AF. Is that the new? We're going with Awesome AF, right? Yes, there we go. So they've got a 12:34 for. So Abscape Finesse was a team that came on last season. Abigail Snyder, Angela Quick, Danielle Baker, Kaylee Boyle, and Catherine Monks. And Nathan, you know I've been a big fan of Catherine Monks for a while here. I think she's a superstar.
Yeah, and watch out for Abscape Finesse. They might be able to come on hot the second half of this race.
Yeah, this
Don't
is
count
not
them
over.
out just of yet. Not one bit. And they do have a really great DS usually in with them on Discord. They know how to bring back some time, that's for sure. So watch out for them throughout the rest of this race. Waddy Inc. now coming on in. Look at these splits. Big shout out to WTRL. Absolutely great job bringing in all this data and these times. And here comes Inside Out at 23:23. Now, we're just going to really quickly jump through. We're going to check out Agawatt, see where they're at. Looking good in the pink kits, as always. They've been using the new Merc kit. As you can see, it is going to be Nancy Gillen on the front here. Then we're going to have, it looks like El Nina, and then it's going to be Marejo and S. Pellerin, followed up by Marie Andre. So that's the situation here in the Merc kits. Now on the chase, Sisu Du is a little bit ways behind them. Crouching Gallopin as well. Now this may be the Ego Wattage, excuse me. Actually, the Agawatt team.
Two
I was going to say,
teams.
yeah, I was going to say because Britt Powell and the rest of this team, I wasn't recognizing all the names there. And two different teams. Agawatt is always a really good, fast team as well here. Obviously, in and amongst the top racers, but Agawatt, the main team, well, their top team, I would have to say, as far as their fastest goes, it's going to have Laurel Perry, Jessica, Michelle in here, as well as Britt Powell. So really, this four-woman squad, though, here, a little bit short maybe on the bodies showing up, yet bringing in those kind of, how? Like how? Talk about wattage cottages here. I mean, holy cow here, Dave.
So just to be clear, and you're 100% right, Nathan. So Laura Perry, pound for pound, or I guess I should say kilo for kilo, is one of the toughest athletes out there. This team is so both Agawatt and Agawattage, the sister team, are entirely Canadian except for one rider, and that is Jess Schenkeisen. She's an American. Caroline Boyot, and you mentioned Britt Powell, didn't you, already, Nathan? That's Agawatt. Britt Powell here is just a monster. This team punches way above their weight, super talented, and I'm expecting, so we're going to see some splits coming through here in a few moments, and it'll give us a good feel for how the second half of this race is setting up out here. So Agawattage then, Linda Gingras, Melanie Rocher, Marie-Andre Oile, Marejo Levesque, Michelle Maloney, and Nina Lelio. So, apologize for my poor pronunciation of a few of those. And Nancy Gillian is possibly one of the Agawatt riders, so it does get a little confusing with the tagging here, but I'm doing my best. So, Inside Out, 23-23. This is going to be a big day for them, Nathan.
Holding it down so far. We'll see how it ends up playing out, though, because Agawatt came there with that 11:51 with only 4 riders, so that's a tall ask.
Yeah.
Now, this is a team that doesn't really need too much of an introduction, that's for sure. This is going to be Riot Weissman. It's going to be Grossman. It's going to be Cameron, Rathwell, Gagnon on the back, Jennifer Rio. They've got 6 strong still. And Britt Powell with 4-4 on the front versus Weissman 5-0. They're just going to have a smaller matchbox when it comes to how many you can burn here. And going to be a tough day to hold off the likes of this team. It was 1 second difference, and the reality is here comes Grossman pulling through 4.6. I was racing with Megan Rathwell on Sunday, actually. I did the Zip speed, the Zip speed tour that they had going on, the races that they had going on was pretty amazing. And we were on the Dust in the Wind. She was attacking off the front again with the boys. She was in with the guys, A's, 5-6 watts per kilogram on the front. I was like, I need to get in a break with this girl. I was like, holy crap. Like, we were going 1-2, Rathwell, and I'm not kidding, she ended up hanging with us all the way through to like almost the last 10, 15K. And only got dropped once we hit the almost back into the Sand and Sequoias, the reverse climb. Amazing. Top 5 with top men in that Zip speed concept. Yeah. She's a monster.
That's Megan Rathwell that you're speaking of?
Yeah, Megan Rathwell, right here, coming out of Canada,
awesome.
BC.
Yeah. Yeah, she's just a huge talent. I love this team. Now, I think the next race, Nathan, we should cue up the Darth Vader Star Wars music right before you go to Riot, because that's how the other teams have to feel, right? You got to shudder in fear when you see this squad. I mean, Christina Grossman was purpose built to race this course. She has been working incredibly hard. And I mean, if you when you talk about it, it's a puncher's course, a rider that can sprint over. So an endurance sprinter, right? Isn't that exactly what she is? I love Claire Cameron on this team. Eleanor Weissman is the Belgian rider. I believe I need to find out more about Eleanor's story, because I have to think she's living somewhere in North America now. Evelyn Gagnon, also on this team, is a talent coming out of Canada.
That is as good as I can do. I'll see if we can find the Star Wars music for you.
It's close.
It's got a little suspense. Got a little suspense for you here, Dave.
See,
it's all we got online right now.
Well, thank you, Nathan. And you know what? I kind of put you in a corner, because obviously we don't have the licensing rights to play the Star Wars
I can search
music.
we can search our license
friend.
library. I wonder if it's in there. I can take a look and see.
You're the best, Nathan. Oh, you know, Jen Reel is on this team racing. So I also, because I've never met Jen in person, I've never called a race. I'm actually doing Tulsa Tough next month, right? So very excited to get back to some in real life racing.
Outside. Wait, do I need to go?
I know.
Do I need to go to Tulsa Tough? I should go race Tulsa Tough.
Yes, you do. And yeah, we'll have a conversation offline, because I have another race I want to invite you to. But anyways, Jen Reel, or is it Real? I'm wondering.
Real. I think we've always said Real. I've always said Real. I've never been corrected, but you know.
And to be fair, Jen is active on social media, and she, I would think, would correct us if we were wrong, because she's
your problem,
out there.
Dude?
We're friends.
Come on, kid. Let's go.
So she races out of Hawaii. She's got quite a setup there, and also is a big heart. And this team is really on all. Is Anna directing them tonight? I know that Anna's had a lot going on.
She should be. I believe she. It sounded like she was. She at least was directing in Premiere for sure. I don't know about tonight, but I would be surprised if she wasn't jumping on. I mean, she's or she might be racing as well. I think she was jumping into some B or C category races now as well. So we'll wait and see. Now I do want to. I did promise to put some coverage around for the B and C categories. So we're going to jump on over to Dutch Diesel here. They I believe were the first ones to jump out in the B category for the women. Or no, I'm totally wrong about that, because we were way back on this, and that's Team Fearless actually, where Jennifer Reel started out was Team Fearless. Good to see them smashing watts here over the top of Surrey. Here we go. In with Ego Watt. They were the first ones to jump out on course, it looks like, in the B category. And with Ego Watt Fire, they're currently sitting 24:29 at the 16K mark. This racing in the B category for Women's East here, Dave. Look at this. 23:45 down to 24:41. Tied for 8th, 9th, and 10th. And anybody's race still. You could bring back a lot of time here in that top 5 or 6. I mean, 21, 23, 24, 24, 25, 29. The only ones walking away here are the top 2.
And let me tell you, Nathan, we saw this all day long. Pacing is huge. Some of the teams go out a little conservative, and man, do they pour it on in the end. So this is going to be awesome. No doubt about it. So we're in with the B women now. So you might say, wait, I just saw Agawad is a brand. They've got teams all over the shop. So this is Annie Puyot, as Nathan mentioned. Then we had, this is Bianca Loison, Jillian Howland, she's the American on the team. It's mostly Canadian. Lauren Proofer, Vanessa Giguère, and Veronique Fournier. That is the Agawatt Fire team that we're looking at. You can see the fastest time, 23:45 from Cryogen Marie Blanc. The herd of Skipper Butterflies are 17 seconds back there with a 24:02, and it's pretty close there. Back to Sisu, I Race Like a Girl, Freya. Revo Godivas sitting in fourth. ATP Racing Honeybees in fifth. This is gonna be fun. The teams are close too. They're almost to that third and final check before the finish.
Yeah, it's just we're going to move through pretty quickly here to get our features down in with everybody as well. Sisu Freya there, as you can see, they're having a solid time here in third place currently. We'll see what ends up happening as they come through that 24-kilometer mark, but it does look like they're about to make a catch, I believe, there. Sisu Freya on the Ego Watt team, and that would make sense because Freya is currently in third place. They've made up a lot of time, it looks like, actually. Fire fading 24:29 at the last checkpoint 24:21. So this team has come on strong, Freya, in this since that 16-kilometer mark. And we were saying Surrey Hill was the place that a lot of time could be made up. It looks like that's exactly what happened here with this team, because the only thing between that last check mark and now is the Surrey Hills.
Yeah, I completely agree with that assessment too. It's really, that's where the race is won, as they say out there. So looking now, and you can see how this transfer sector that they're making their way through. I love how they board this up so you don't have to ride on the train tracks, which would be incredibly dangerous. So taking a look at, you can only imagine, right? Yeah, you would do it. Monarch Butterflies is the herd of Monarchs is 24:39 was their time at the check. So they're only 10 seconds behind Agawatt Fire. So they got a lot to chase. They could, well, look at how it stacks up ahead of them, Nathan. If they could just move 15 seconds forward, they're talking about a run at the podium here. So they're in no way are they.
Did you guys see power-ups at all during the premiere? Just as a,
no.
I'm just wondering. We've seen power-ups all day long in the community league. Weird. Actually. Yeah, interesting.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely made some changes, that's for sure. Everybody's been saving them specifically for this section of course, actually, too, a lot of times, knowing that that was where. I mean, that's a pretty tough section of course, so that's where you want to do it. Here come the Spin-a-Buns. Spinning the buns.
Best name ever.
Ever. Yeah, definitely. Killing it. And stopping by the local mall afterwards to grab a cinnamon bun probably here. Wadi Inc. now also with the B team. It looks like Norton leading them out. It's going to be Konworski. Henry's there as well. Spin-a-Bun's going to be Bragg, Vinapal, Upshaw. And it looks like a little bit of a gap here for Seaman. Oh, boy. Miller as well. This is out of control, actually. Completely out of control. Gonna have to reel it in here as Miller just demolished her team, and you can't finish. I mean, this is big yikes.
Yeah. So I guess just a point of business here. The time is not an average time of your riders. It's taken off of your fourth wheel. So there's every reason in the world to wait here and just get it reorganized.
100%. We'll see if that ends up happening here because it is definitely off the back. Let's keep on moving on.
If you didn't read the memo, right?
Yeah.
Say, average time. All right, I'll just soldier on here. You girls do your thing, but that's not, unfortunately, how it works. Actually, fortunately, because it makes the racing so much better. Les Watts sisters. All right, here we go. So this is our B category again that we're getting a look at. The split times are now. Everybody has put a split down there at the midpoint of the race, or just past. And it is Marie Blanc holding on with that fastest time. So
that's the cryogen we're in with right now. Seconds. They're flying. They're doing really well.
Yeah, they are.
Mel off the front, though, a little bit here. See if they can weld it back together. She's just being a little bit of a carrot, though. The rest of the ladies, it looks like, well organized behind.
I love this team. That's Mel Little there. You know, we've spoken about our appreciation for the Cryogen Nation out there. So Mel Little, Marjorie Dugas, Kim Schaff, Karen Richardson. They have a Brazilian. That's cool to see. Cristina Perez. And then Allison Thompson is the other rider on the squad. And it looks like 5 are left there. So not bad here. Actually, 5 is pretty okay, I would say, if you're inside of 7K to go. You're beating the odds.
Revo Godivas, 24-23. Very close with Dutch Diesel, as well as Sisu Freya. Solid ride here.
There's a rider on the Revo team, Nathan, that Roloff, Kelly Roloff. If you're a bike mechanic, you would know that name from they make incredibly high-end German bicycle chains.
Oh,
And
really?
a few tools as well, but like at the very highest level, right? Like the
I've never heard of them.
Stradivarius
Yeah,
of
never
bicycle
heard of them.
chains. Yep.
Interesting.
So that last name is a cool cycling. That'd be like being named Dave Campagnolo or something, right? So, or Nathan Shimano, but Kelly Roloff is the rider for the Revo team. Katie Iserman, Leonie Kelly, Tracy Judge, all on this squad.
There's a team
Very familiar
that I
kid.
really want to know what's going on here because I am not seeing them anywhere in the leaderboard, and they are usually a very dominant team, but I think it's because they have a couple of strong riders when it comes to sprint and scratch racing, and then they may struggle here in the team time trial. I'm not sure what's going on because I don't see ATP Racing anywhere in this top 10 right now. Where are they in the overall standings is going to be my question, because this is unlike them. And
I agree. So this speaks to me like some kind of massive technical issue or something. I don't. I mean, because you're right.
ATP Racing
they're
Honeybees,
high quality. That's the team of Ashley Cameron. And,
Ashley Cameron,
yeah,
exactly what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about
Right.
checking her Twitch stream right now to see what's going on here. 52
Oh, well,
points, third place currently. I mean, what is happening, I wonder? I'm going to make our way back to them. Ashley here, 4.5 watts per kilogram. They're moving at 34 kilometers per hour right now. Remy in here now
what's
as well.
wrong?
No, I'm wondering,
know what-
maybe it might be a data issue.
This
I
might
wonder
be
if
a
it's
data thing.
issue. Yeah, because
Yeah,
I am
yeah,
really
yeah.
surprised.
Me too. And I'm going to go with what you're saying until I hear differently, because every now and then there's going to be a little glitch working its way through the system. This very well could be one of them. So Freya, I see. So I race like a girl, 37:03. We're getting times in from the 24K checkpoint, 31K. It's right on the nose too, with 31K out here, just a few meters more. So 36:16 from Marie Blanc is in as a faster time now. Oh, they are flying cryogen in full effect, Nathan. So they are putting a very quick time on top of the table there, 36:16. It's getting close to a minute faster than Sisu, and Sisu's crushing it out there because Herd of Monarch Butterflies, another strong team at 37:28. Then Lewatt Sisters, Agawatt Fire, and Spinneman Buns. That's your first 6 teams through, but we are waiting for what should be some very fast times. This one still is going to be down to the line.
I just want to give everybody an idea of how large the streaming world is getting nowadays. This is absolutely crazy to see. I am really, really impressed by this, actually. I'll give you guys an idea. If you head on over to Twitch, I'll show you guys this in just a second. I was actually going to see if Ashley's streaming. I don't think she's jumped on today, but I am seeing a lot of Agawatt ladies, actually, as well as Cryogen are out there streaming as well. Really, really cool. And it's just amazing to me how much that this is taking off, especially with the Americas during this time. I've got like a page of at least 25 streams, most of them a part of this TTT and the ZRL right now.
Yeah, I mean, the WTRL sees 6,000 racers, and one of the things that has been, as you're noting, Nathan, and you have helped move the ball forward out here, is that Twitch has become it's really grown. There's a perfect look for you.
I mean, look at this. This
some
is
of
just
the dozens of
all
racers
of this
that are
is
streaming
TTT.
themselves.
ZRL,
Right.
all the ZRL. And the cool thing is they're all competing against each other, showing off the live streams at the same time. So cool to see. It's really, I really, really, really enjoyable. And I love it that everybody's sharing their experiences.
And I really do look at it, Nathan, where people say, well, you're putting the competition up. Not at all. This all feeds in on it. It all works together out there. And I'm sure if you are a fan of, let's use Ashley Cameron as an example. Well, you can listen to this broadcast. You can watch her stream at the same time and really feel like you're embedded with the team, but still hearing the big picture of what's going on. It's great. It really is.
100%. Well, let's go ahead and keep on moving on through. I'm going to jump back on over and see how things are happening with Team Riot. Then we'll jump in with the C category in just a moment. This is the M. Dobbs and the rest of the Dutch team. that we were talking about earlier. They're currently sitting down with a third place overall. It's going to be Skippers here. They were having the solid team. The herd of Skippers with a solid ride there at a 36-26. So still a battle for the podium, but it does look like Cryogen, Mary Blanc, they are walking away with it just a little bit. You know, Mel, that you were talking about there, Dave, is actually also Fun Fit Mel is actually streaming. Interesting enough to see. Very cool.
Right on.
Yeah, smashing it with the Mary Blanc team right now, as you can see. So really great to see her out here. Solid times, and it looks like pushing really hard. Melanie Little. And it's in French, actually. Everything here is in French. So she could really help us out. We should just get her on the broadcast, it looks
man.
like.
Yeah, we need your help in a major way. So this is the Skippers. There's a couple of the butterfly teams out there as well in the bees. So it works out perfectly because if we do go back to Riot, they'll be the last team or close to. If they pass another squad, they won't be the last, but they'll be close to that out there for the A's. And then we should have plenty of time with our C's to watch some of those teams that are working hard and engaged in their fourth race of the season here in our community racing. So here we go, though, 36-16, the fastest time. All of the teams are through the third and final check. So they're into the last set. Oh, watching a pass going on, and that is the aforementioned Riot. So we are jumping in with the team. I see 5 riders. It might be 6. We'll hold on. This is going to be Laura Perry and the Canadian Agawatt squad. They started with 4, but man, Nathan, they were punching above their weight. How are they doing? Oh,
there's the times.
Man. Well, they're having a great ride, but you know,
good ride.
They're monsters. They're monsters.
Listen in. So this is going to be their DS speaking through.
Clump a little bit. This is fine at this point. We got 3 more kilometers to go.
This is going to be Ego Wattage's DS coming on through over on the Twitch stream, coming in from Laura Perry.
Try to stay in that line.
Giving great direction there, Dave.
Let's get back in order. We're at 0 now, so Britt should be coming through. So 3, 2, 1. Britt, pull through nice and steady.
Britt Powell to the front. There it is. That was perfect. Did you see that? Look at the organization, and that's how it's done, and that's why they can get away with 4 riders right there, Dave.
We got Britt, then we
that
got Michelle,
good.
then we
that
got
precise. Laura. This is really a clinic that we're watching here. And again, is Britt Powell right on the front. Laura Perry has been a leader on this team. No doubt about it. Caroline Bouillot.
3,
and
2, 1, Michelle.
It is Jess. So that Jessica S that you're seeing is Jess Schenkeisen, the American.
Come on, ladies. This is perfect. Keep that formation. Keep it tight.
It'll be a fun team to watch. They have Premier League destiny.
2 more kilometers.
A couple more powerhouses on the team.
Excited, but let's just keep it nice and
for
smooth.
sure. Definitely.
Yeah, they need 1 more big
3,
engine, right? Or 2. I mean,
2,
maybe 2.
1. Laura,
that's Michelle Maloney that we're looking at right now.
Yeah.
Another rider that has just arrived on my radar. I love this
steady.
America's East
Nice
group.
and steady.
The racing
Good job,
is
good
top
job.
notch. We meet new quality riders every season. This is a fertile ground for competition, and it seems like a welcoming group to me too, Nathan. I've really felt like there's a good vibe in America's East.
Weissman now 5-0 on the front, and I think the Agawatt ladies, they just don't have enough matches left in the, there's just, the well just doesn't go that deep for only 4 riders versus what now you can see Weissman pulling at the front at 5.
The wattage
She's gonna have a little
ran
bit
out
extra.
of rope. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just the reality. And look, they're even able to sacrifice, whereas Agawatt, they can't. They can't sacrifice anybody. And the reality is that, Gagnon can go off the back, and they're still making up time. 14 seconds is the gap. Rathwell in the back now at 138. Look, she can sit in because of this,
Look at the formation.
at 138.
No
Perfect formation.
Yeah, this is as good as it gets, folks. You're looking at A++ level right now with Riot. Again, this is one of the few teams that could be racing Premier that has basically opted not to. I think it's, more or less, that's fair to say. This is one of the best teams that the community has ever seen. Weissman on the front there, the Belgian rider. But this is just a team of stars in our community. Evelyn Gagnon took a big pull before finishing up there, as she is another. I mean, there's just nothing but quality. This is one of the few teams that has quality and quantity.
Let's go ahead and jump on over to our men's racing for a moment. We haven't been in with them at all so far. We'll jump in with the C women in just a moment as well. And we'll get you guys the results. We did see all of the times there that were through each of the check marks for the A's as well as the B's for the women. Now we are in with the men, and they're currently smashing it here with Crete Bradwin. This is going to be the Royal City team. It does look like they caught the F Cancer team, I believe. From what I can see. And let's go ahead and see where this is standing right now. Royal City there came in with 11:19, but the 10:51s are actually, it looks like, really where it's at.
So Nathan, you know that I've been lucky enough to be with you for more than a year now, and I am still learning things. But one thing I think so this is the
Div 3.
The 17-17 start, exactly, Division 3. So this one started, it was the third. So we move through, and Nathan will cover, trying to share the love amongst all the different groups. So this one is, again, Division 3. And then you jump in with the A's, and you're going to find the group that we're looking at. And Nathan, again, Crete's team. I
Royal
see that
City.
they are all
Royal City.
Royal City. We mentioned the Royal City has men's and women's teams. This is a Canadian squad. Guelph is the Royal City in Canada. We learned that. Vis-a-vis all the great racing out here.
We learned that through the racing is the great thing about it, is that a lot of the things that we learn about all these places around the world is because of the racing, which is always awesome.
Yeah. You know, we've learned a ton of French pronunciations, canyon like canyon. So Digital District Velocity Racing has the fastest time at 16K. Again, 31K, just like the women. Everything's the same course, Greatest London Flat, about 164 meters of climbing out here. It's Finesse Esports with a 21:14. So actually, I'm going to update things. Our first time coming in, Royal City, the team that we're with Crete here, a 33:02. But you can see that 21:14 was the quickest time for Finesse Esports. We'll see if that holds true as we do reverse seed. The fastest teams start basically last.
Real quickly, I'm just going to jump around just a little bit here, everybody. I want to make sure that we are getting the coverage as best as we possibly can across the categories. I like to keep promises. So the C category for the women, we do have a team Fearless. They are making their rounds toward the finish here at this point. Going to get them out on course, though, for just a moment. We'll jump back in with the men. The men still have a solid 7K to go for the leaders and probably half the course still to go for the rest of the riders. You can see where the current splits are at, though, for the top 10 across the 8, 16, and 24K mark. Back on over to the ladies, though, as the C women are just finishing up. Let's go ahead and see. These were the splits for the A's. Riot has already gotten across the line, so we'll see how things are played out as we get all the results up for that. But we're going to head on over to the C category here. ATB Racing Hive there with the 37-36 at the top. It's going to be WTRL Drafting Dinos there at the top there with the second place so far, tied with Les Watts Sisters, Vivo Doves, followed by CCNS Mary Cranksters there, 39-17. Very tight racing there between 4th and 5th. Z Tsunami, I was told. They actually put it in a name. One of the names in the C category today in the men's race, I think it was in EMEA, it said Z, not Z, Tsunami. That's what it said. It said Z, not Z, Tsunami. It was the joke in the team name. It made us say, so Z Tsunami, followed up by Wadi Ying Flash. No Drama Llamas yelling from the basement with 40-45 Erd of Sea Otters and Leywat Sisters. And that's the current situation. Where is this Fearless team? I'm not sure they've made this top 10, though.
Yeah, it's competitive out here, no doubt about it. Look at ATP Racing Hive. They are just buzzing away with this one. That's a solid ride.
Got the honey in the legs, Dave. They've got the honey in the legs coming out of, is it Michigan? I think it's coming out of Michigan, isn't it?
Yeah, Jim, right. The sweet honey watts there on the front. WTRL, the Drafting Dinos C. They're tied with Leigh Watt's sister, so that's going to be a real battle there for second today. Because I think ATP Racing Hive might have flown the coop, as they say. We're in with Waddy Inc. right now. Again, love it. Women's C's making it happen out here. And they're down to, I think if we look forward, we're going to see that they have the gantry in sight. They look behind themselves. They see a team chasing them down. There's the finish line. This one is just about done and dusted again. Waddy Inc., Chrissy Halioris, Heather Duncan, Kate Tell, Chiriston Schneider, and Patricia Grajda Bob on the team. Good work out there, ladies.
Seesaw Racer, a girl with the name Dunlap on a team. That's a name. If
Allison Dunlap,
you want some recognition in the world
legend.
of cycling, yeah, that's where it's at. So moving on through, we're gonna see if we can jump in with a few more of the riders here, as we do see it is going to be
Zed's son.
Zed's son, excuse me, Zed's son. Oh, and now it's the streaming avatar hanging out. So that's appreciate that one. We'll see if we can move back in. We'll jump back in with the men here for just a moment as we look to try and grab a few more of the images there for the C category, as we lost a few things. Zed's son made me say Zed, and see what happens? That's what happens when we try.
It went haywire.
It went completely haywire. This is America's East. It's telling us, Nathan, you only have to do that when you're on the non-American broadcast.
It's funny you say that, but the other day they told Matt, please don't say Zed, say ZRL. So it's a back and forth battle with Zed and Z.
It's quite the battle. You know what's funny? You know what's funny is like, what if the name of that team makes the Premier Division and it says Zed, and he has to say Zed then in the name.
You're putting him in a tough spot. For sure.
Productions told me it has to be Z, but it says Zed in the name, not Z.
See, now you get a feel for what we're up against behind the scenes, right? So let's see. So all of these teams now, if you're seeing 28K up there, you're at a little over 3K to go. Try to stay organized out here. It's really hard to hold your focus
Dave.
for 40 minutes.
Yeah, I know. I'm really trying over here, Dave. We're trying to focus. I'm working on it.
Not you.
This is going to be huge.
But yeah, you can relate, Nathan. You can do this, right? You know, I don't know what your biggest challenges are. I mean, obviously, this is a physical.
Well,
effort,
when things get disorganized in the team, wow, that was a really fast swap. Like all of a sudden it just was like downpour. It went from sunny to boom. Where's the lightning? But I think one of the main challenges when things get disorganized in the TTT is that, and that's going to be Gunther there. I actually raced with Gunther as well just recently over the weekend. Good to see him back out here. Hammond Way Sorensen as well. Strong team here with, I believe this is going to be the draft team. I think there's some guest riders actually with this team, because I am seeing Lafayette Bicycle for Matthew Hogue. Maybe he's the guest rider though, because Draft CU I think is the actual team that we're looking at with the 3241 right now. But disorganization and not knowing who's going when, or if somebody's taking turns when they weren't supposed to, or they pushed you out of.
Sure.
I actually said. Yeah. During a race, I said, hey, do you want me to put my elbows out, bud? And that was me like being like, stop it, to one of my teammates. Like, you're pushing me off the wheel. And it is so intense at this point with that new AI, how much you can get pushed off a wheel and how much it can mess everything up with the order, that you can get pretty frustrated if it starts getting out of control. And then if you don't have a general that is not in the middle of an effort, that can say something in a nice way, that can be like, hey, bud, this is happening. But when you're in the middle of an effort and you're just like, all you can do is like grunt, like, and you're just like mad, it can get out of control, you know? So, really, again, DS, calmness, what you just heard from the Egowatt team and what they were doing. All right, you come through like this and you come through, because intensity of emotion coming through, even if you don't even have high emotion, it can sound like it, and it can start this like infighting even in the team. And I actually, one time I was like, dude, you take my spot, you're taking the pole. I actually said that. That's my elbow out, dude. You take my spot, you take the pole. Oh, you took my spot again. Guess what? Now it's your turn to pole again. I ain't going to the front. You're on the front, bud. It's your time. Like, and so it was almost like, well, you want it? Here's what you get for messing up. Now you get a punishment for it. It was in my mind. So it can get crazy.
You know what it sounds
definitely
like?
Get crazy.
You know what it sounds like you're talking about to me? Real bike racing, which is because, you know, your emotions come to the fore when you're making a huge effort and your heart rate is at 178 for the last 15 minutes, right? I mean, you're not messing around. I love what this sport brings out. These guys are now about a half K from finishing out here. This is the draft team: Andrew Walter, David Charles, David Torello, Eric Sorensen, and you mentioned Zachary Gunther, right? You were riding with him recently?
Zachary Gunther. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's the guys we've got coming in now. There's a couple, so that's Draft CU. There's a couple of our dirt teams. You're going to know dirt out there if you've been following Zwift Community Live, the Dad's Indoors Riding Trainers, and we've got the Watts edition and Dirty Ducks, but at this point there's hundreds and hundreds of guys who identify as dirt riders. And let's see what we've got now. Rolling over 41:30. It's going to be a quick time out here on a tough 31K of racing on the Greatest London Flat.
Absolutely flying. T3 Philly here, A3325. Not a team I'm familiar with. They got Delone, it looks like, Bele, and then it's going to be Darden and Duval. Good to see all new names to me too, Dave. I'm pretty familiar with almost any team, at least one rider on a team, but this is completely
T3 Philly.
Yeah, very cool to see.
I
Loving
have not.
this.
This is great.
Is that a Welsh rider up like at like midnight right now? It's like 1 a.m. God, I wonder if he's actually in the U.S. or on the Americas just with the Welsh flag. Duval.
I don't know. We had the Japanese team, the Zwift Warriors, racing in Premier League at the equivalent of, it was 4:30 in the morning for them when they were racing. I can't think of a worse time, right? I mean, yeah, the cold, lonely, right before the sun comes up. So we're in with the Dirty Ducks now, another one of the dirt teams, and so this gets a little mixed up on the roster here.
There's a lot of dirt teams actually in here.
There are.
A lot of them. Dirty Watts are here. The Dirt Ducks are here. They're about to catch each other. They're going to get all mixed up in each other here, it looks like.
We're going to have ducks with ducks and ducks. So it's, yeah, wow. So the Dirty Ducks, that's Blake Cheney, Brandon Hines. I don't want to miss anyone, and I feel like I'm going to. Dane Buckley, Jacob Bratton, and there we go, Ryan
Who's
Norwood.
making the pass? Finesse just came through. Yeah, Finesse just came through. Finesse Esports, they're on a absolute mayhem right now. 31:50. Just flying through the pack there. I think they're the obvious winners on the day. They've almost got 40 seconds on Lace Intrepids, number 1. We do see it's going to be Shudik. It's going to be Nightingale there coming on through. Austin's there as well. Whew. A little bit of a punch here coming from Shudik. Nightingale killing it now. And up into 471 watts, 8 watts per kilogram, 183 beats per minute. And I think Finesse Esports just put their mark on this TTT.
This was a command performance out here. I'm going to give them a well-deserved shout-out because this is a ride now that definitely will stay with them. I'm seeing that T3 Philly is a team that it's going to be fun to watch how things go for them. But this is, well, so Joseph, we were just with Joseph Chuddock, Michael Nightingale, Travis Samuel, Austin. I have a feeling I'm missing a rider there, but this is going to be Tagle that we're in with Backpedal A3.
I love that name. That's a
good name.
Yeah,
it is. And I think I got it right. I think that's Backpedal is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I think so. Some of the ATP riders coming in. Most of the riders are going to be done now at this point in the A category. We're 40 minutes of racing in at this point. A lot of them have gotten across the line. So we'll see if we can jump in with some of the C's. We'll start getting the results for the women. As you saw earlier on the women's side of things, we ended up in the pens there once in a while. Sometimes we can get back out of the pens. Usually we get kind of stuck. So we'll jump around a little bit for the men's on the B and C as we can. Probably gonna have to go back to the C category to catch any more racing for the men's side of things.
Yeah, a lot of the Bs will have finished, won't they? Because they're hauling out there.
They're so fast.
But I do appreciate you doing that. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that, we have thousands and thousands of racers, and we are really enjoying getting to meet some new racers here this season. And I feel like we've done that today really well, actually, as Mandula. There's a new name to me, and now you can see a strong finish coming across the line here. This is our A's that we're still in with. So America's East A's. Sometimes I don't know that people fully understand the scope of what it is like racing around the globe. Martin at WTRL is a mastermind, and the work that they do to have created, so 106 WTRL is coming up this Thursday. That's the World Tactical Racing League. They partner with Zwift, and the amount of data, everything that's going on to make these Tuesday races happen now is mind-blowing. And to tell you the truth, I feel like, Nathan, people are having more and more fun with this as we take a look at ATP racing again. I had some ATP Jim Withers honey in my tea this morning. Thank you, Jim. Again, honey is awesome. Those bees are doing some good work for ATP Racing Halogen here.
I love that.
Aren't they? Have you had your honey?
It's so great. Oh yeah, we ate it all. It's all gone.
It's gone.
It's literally all gone.
Yeah.
I don't know.
See, I don't have a family of hungry kids.
I'm looking around to see if I still have one here that I like, because I was using it on the bike too. I think it's all gone. I'm pretty sure we consumed all of it.
To be honest, I hate to give away the industry secrets, but straight honey or straight maple syrup, that's no different than some of the shots that they're selling you out there. So you can kind of do that at home. I think Nathan has figured that out. A good shot of honey sure helps with 15K to go, right, on a long day.
Oh yeah, it's great.
I'll take
Absolutely
it.
Great.
I'll take it.
Absolutely, yeah. The honey's great. That's it's one of the best go-tos by far. So, loving it. Now we are in with the C category. ATP Racing Halogen.
Dirty Dogs.
Dirty Dogs here, as you can see, they're currently sitting 7th at that 26-12. Pretty close racing at the top between the herd of trusty steeds, ATP Halogen, and we are seeing Cryogen SA Calobra. And then it's a little bit of a gap back to the herd of Furious Foals. We did jump in with them a little bit. They looked a little bit split up when I did get in with John Watai. That was the rider that helped us get on over to the C category. Little did he know he was going to be such a crucial part of the broadcast today.
The link. Yeah.
He was the link in. But in with the C's and the Dirty Dogs, they're doing a good job, it looks like, right now. Pretty well organized, actually. I've only been involved in a few DS situations, where I'm listening in to what is being said in these discords. We've jumped in with Riot, we've jumped in with Finesse, we've jumped in obviously with Egowatt today. I'm in with my DSs with OTR when I jump in with them as a guest rider, and they all probably have their own style though. You know what I mean? Their own feel for what it's like. Like some of them might be really like, you go to the Thursday night spin class and it's boom, boom, like in your face. What are you doing? Get moving, And all the way, chill. Okay, you go here. I wonder what it's like. And then the different languages as well. It would be so cool to get a montage of all the languages and all the different feelings of the DSs. We got to get that recorded and have a pass the baton, worldwide pass the baton, video or something of it. Because, the reality of what's happening here with all of those communications throughout the day that are happening in all those different discords or communication ways is got to be, that would be an amazing testament to be able to, visualize that as well as hear that kind of difference across the board. We got to get that together. This is a call out to the community.
That's an incredibly fun idea. I couldn't agree more. And if you think about it, right, there's going to be the smooth jazz kind of director who's just chill and got a mellow voice, and the excited. All the way, you've got Anna Russell out there who's very analytical and super precise and clear. And there's got to be some that work in a little bit of humor, right? And the whole spectrum. You're absolutely right. The directors out there, Nathan, that was a point I didn't make earlier, but I wanted to, following up on something you were saying about in this day and age now, we're almost to the point where I don't really think that you can direct and race at the same time. I really think that you
It's
need to have
really
a
difficult. We do try. We do
Yeah.
try in a couple of teams. It gets really difficult, though. I mean, the level
I
at
think
which you
even
try to do it.
emotionally, I think you need to be removed from the racing. Like, you know what I mean? You just can't have your heart rate at 165 when you're making these decisions. You need to have a cold Dr. Pepper and and your laptop open in
Dr.
front of you.
Pepper
So
specifically, not sponsored.
that's my thought. That's my thought. Yeah.
BRT to the line, little bit of sprint as they chase down. What's this TFC guy doing here?
Did you see the
Where did
Haitian
he come
sensation?
from?
By the way, we didn't even give that name a shout out.
Wait,
The
really?
Haitian sensation.
He's
Yeah,
back?
you had him up a minute ago. Yeah, and I was like, right on. This guy is awesome.
Oh, that guy's been around
Um,
forever. I didn't even see. I missed
yeah.
it. Oh man,
Legend status.
absolute
amongst
legend
us.
status. Loving to see that he's back on the wheels here. Cryogen on the chase.
One of the
They're
most
about okay
popular
out.
C racers ever. Yeah. Cryo. This is
This
a
can
great
be-
kid.
Now, do you know this climb?
Marie Blanc?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Colobla.
So I do not,
I don't
actually.
I don't actually know
I
it at
wonder
all.
what SA. I
I
wonder
was
what
wondering
the
if that
SA.
I wish that stood for South America or not. I wasn't sure.
I think it does, and maybe this is a climb in Brazil or Colombia, possibly. So I'll do. Oh, you know what? That's why they made Google.
Google.
Yeah, I should have just said yes. Hold on a second. Let me get to that in a minute, Nathan. But we will figure that out for you. Also, for those wondering, what are these guys talking about? The Cryogen team. I don't know if it's exclusive anymore, but most of the teams, if not all, use a famous climb. So Marie Blanc, that's why I said that, because there is a Marie Blanc that was racing, but also, you name it. There's Mount Evans was one, an American climb that they've used. So we will see what Colabra is referencing. I feel kind of bad that I don't know.
I bet you we're gonna be told. Mallorca.
Mallorca. There you go. Where so many pros go and do their camps. And
Well, we're not pros,
even
so
like-
I mean that's. Yeah, of course we don't know. I actually should know that one. I actually think I've had someone reference it to me. Now that I think of it.
Well, I'm not saying that I don't think I should have known. I absolutely should have known. So I'm beating myself up. Yeah, don't worry. I feel terrible. Don't worry.
Herd of Furious Bulls with the Herd kit. If you haven't seen this kit before, check it out.
Oh,
I always like to
it looks
focus
great.
in on this one with all the animals on the back, all the herds. It's herds so good. Herds so good.
Another brand in the world of esports, right? I mean, literally hundreds of riders on the herd teams. On some races, we'll have 3 different herd teams in one category. They are awesome.
Absolutely awesome. Absolutely. I want to jump in with a
Foals.
team here. As the C's finish up, we'll be getting their results in as fast as we possibly can. But there's a specific rider for WTRL that's out there hammering right now that I really want to highlight. He's actually the #1 stream over on Twitch right now. Let's see if we can jump in with him because this is pretty cool. He's in the D category actually, and he's on a mission. It looks like for fitness. I'm absolutely loving this. Let me see if I can find the rest of his team here. He's riding for the SQL.
In
And
the
I just gotta
Cs?
find a name in the D category actually. In the D
Ds?
category,
Okay.
yeah.
All
And
right.
they're doing an amazing job. It looks like, as we've got some people disappearing. It looks like out on course. Interesting enough. In with Dykes here now. Let's see if we can jump in with the D category in just a moment. See if we can get some help with it here. And there are so at this point we're just kind of clicking around, see if we can find somebody in the D category. To be honest, but let's go ahead and Dave. We'll jump back in here in just a moment as I look to find some of them. But really,
Hey, well, that was a good example of we covered as much racing across the spectrum of categories as we could. If we did any more, it would have been, you wouldn't even know what you're seeing. It would just be image, name, with no context. So, Nathan, that was an awesome job of really we got to look at some cool racers. We met some new teams. We saw some great team time trial racing. So I'm going to call today a 100% success.
100%. Totally. Big success. And I can actually just go ahead and show and highlight this stream actually over on Twitch, just right off the.
Oh, this is the
here.
number one Twitch streamer that we have
for
America's East?
For I believe it's in America's East. I don't think there's any other time that he could be going right now. I'm looking to try and find some of the names in here though, and interesting enough, I'm not seeing any of these names though in this category. So maybe there's another. Oh, he's probably in America's East Division. I'm in Division 2 or Division 3.
Oh,
that's why.
right.
Yeah. Duh, Nathan. I keep forgetting there's so many divisions. That's my fault. So
this is a good problem to have, but it is.
It was a little confusing even for me for a moment there. But Burskeets, this guy, I'm absolutely loving this, you guys. This guy right into the D category. He's hammering away with his, it looks like, I think, in with low drag. I'm not positive. Or if he's in with the WTRL boys. It looks like he's working with the WTRL boys. He's got like 20 viewers hanging out at this point. People are totally cheering him on. You know what I mean? He's trying to get through, it looks like. Not sure what the sound's like, if they got a DS or not. And I mean, he's very recently on my radar. He actually hosted me the other day. And I'm absolutely loving... brought over like 30 viewers. People are loving his fitness journey. And this is what the community is all about. Cheering each other on. Look at this chat going off. Double cowbell. Take some recovery, man. 2 kilometers. Finish strong. Hurry up. Yeah, Pudgy do. Go faster. That's one of his mods messing with him. This is what it's all about right here. Isn't it, Dave?
Couldn't agree more. That makes me feel so good. And these are the stories. Zwift Community Live is not about this exclusive top step of the podium only. And yeah, we love when we can celebrate those kind of athletes that come through. But that right there, that's the salt of the earth. That's someone who's trying to make themselves better. And shouldn't we all just sort of step back and say, right on?
Yeah, exactly. Big old right on on that side of things. So there were only A, B, and C. That's why we couldn't find any C categories actually in the America's East Division 1 for the men. Yeah, I was like, why can't I find these people? That would have been a long
search.
I'm like looking, and I'm like, oh, there's Division 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So, anyways, let's get a quick look at the results.
Now you know how I feel, Nathan.
Exactly. Exactly. Good call there. Let's take a quick look here, see how things played out. This was all the hype here is this going to be interesting to see? Okay. On the, let's go ahead and take a look at wow. Riot.
It's results time.
Riot absolutely walked away with this one.
Yikes. Well, as I said, Nathan, they have Premier League written all over them. They're the stars of the community. Congratulations, ladies, again. Just that outstanding. If we look at the how the teams did in Premier, it's the same course, Nathan. I'll be interested to see how that stacks up. 43.56 for the win. 45 seconds back is Agawat, who took a nice silver medal today. Only a few more seconds back to Gallopin from Cryogen. Inside out, well, you've arrived, ladies. A 145 back, but a standout ride today. Wadi Inc. rounds out your top 5. Sisu, I Raced Like a Girl in 6th. Awesome AF in 7th. Agawattage for 8th, and Core Sports. You did race with heart, ladies. Courage, and 9th place today. Good job.
Loving that team name. And then it's going to be Cryogen, Mary Blanc. They walked away by only 13 seconds. Not walked away. They were chased hard there, it looks like, by the herd of Skipper Butterflies as they come back north. Flying with the wind out of the south. But it's going to be Dutch Diesel Cycling Atomic Spice there, 29.98. In 3rd, Sisu, I Race Like a Girl, Freya. In 4th, HP Racing Honeybees, 1 minute back in 5th. Revo Godivas there in 6th. Herd of Monarch Butterflies in 7th. Egowatt Fire in 9th. Laywatt Sisters, JZQCB in 9th. Excuse me, did I say Egowatt Fire in 8th? Laywatt Sisters in 9th. And then Spinnamin Buns, B in 10th. They really got me tongue twisted that time around.
It'll happen. ATP Racing Hive. Look at this now. 2.8 watts per kilo, Nathan. You talked about this during the race. So they made less power and yet were faster. So all that means to me is they were very, very efficient. That's what it's all about in team time trialing. Congratulations to our gold standard ATP Racing Hive, WTRL Drafting Dinos C. They'll take the silver medal. Les Watts Sisters will be third. It's Revo Doves for fourth, CCNS Merit Cranksters in fifth, Zed Tsunami in sixth, the No Drama Llamas in seventh, Herd of Sea Otters in eighth, Waddy Ink Flash in ninth, and Les Watts Sisters. And I guess I needed to mention the JZQ, small c, big C 3. That's your top 10 in the 1C division here.
In the D's for America's East, Division 1, ATP Racing Buzz, they take it down with 54.37, followed by Vibe there at 22.63. It's going to be Herd of Badass Bobcats there, 2.4, very close on the wattage per kilograms, but it's going to be pretty big gaps actually between them with that 114 back there. WTO Drafting Dinos in fourth, Herd of Bounding Bobcats in fifth, Sisu iRacing Pele in sixth, Fear Factor seventh, Leibot Sisters. It's going to be JZQ, small c, big D in eighth, and then WTO Drafting Dinos ninth, Herd of Blazing Bobcats. They take 10th. And we are seeing, I was not expecting this.
Wow.
That
5.1
happened
watts per kilo.
here. Now look, they were in. I want to take a look at this here really quick. Hold on one second. Yeah, I mean they were at the bottom of. They had not come through yet. They had not. We jumped off. Yep. I jumped off 10:51, 20:52. And then a 31-24. They were actually walking away with
that
it.
Adds up.
I don't even know.
What can you say?
I don't even know who these guys are,
fast.
to be honest.
Well,
so
now
I do. Where did they even come from? I'm going to look these guys up because they just took down Finesse Esports, who is a dominating. I mean, they've been the dominating force in this East for a long time. Wow. That's quite the upset here.
There's a new sheriff in town. So the Digital District Velocity Racing. This one, Nathan, will be my stunner of the day. And salute. Congratulations, guys. That's just huge numbers.
Brett Mansager, Joshua Spokes, M. Brady, it looks like, Patrick Jaron Wattanen, and Steve Kusi. All
interesting.
American
Are they all
team.
Americans?
All American team.
Uh-huh.
I gotta figure out if they're like, are these a bunch of Cat 1 like pro racers, P12s that just were like, hey, let's go do this thing, or what? Like, this is crazy.
Possibly they're aliens that have somehow got American passports. No, guys, congratulations. All joking aside, that's an unbelievable ride. So, pat on the back to y'all. Finesse Esports will take a silver medal, 27 seconds back. It's Southern Ambassadors in third. You can see ATP Racing Chlorine ends up in fourth with Les Intrepides, number one numero uno. In fifth, it's Draft CU for sixth. Dirty Watts in seventh. Royal City Cycling MA2 and eighth. T3 Philly A for ninth. And BRT Lightning rounds out our top 10. This is the Division 3A men that we were in covering today. So nice to check in with Division 3.
And in the B category, it's going to be the Peddler CC, followed up by Dirty Watts. And there's going to be B1 Les Watt Brothers there, followed up by ATP Racing Nitrous, BMTR Grizzlies, PDX Bats, and then Erd of Mad Mustangs. Going to just double check this. And I'm wondering, I would think there's going to be more teams than that, but I believe that may be it in the B category. C category, then, Dave, the ATP Racing Hydrogen at the top. Or halogen, excuse me.
And as always, go back and check the WTRL.racing website if you want to review this, or you'll be able to find all kinds of great stuff there on the site. ATP Racing Halogen will be checking because they're going to be stoked. They won in Division 3C. Congratulations, guys, as you will take the fourth race here on Greatest London Flat. Herd of Trusty Steeds ends up in second. Cryogen SA Colabra In third, Herta Fusion Foals for fourth. C2 Lay Watts Brothers, JZQC. That's going to be fifth place. BRT Dakota in sixth. Dirty Dogs for seventh. TFC Hammer Time, rounding out our top 8 there for Division 3C men. It was a fun night of racing. I had an absolute blast with you all.
Here's that. This is where that D category is at that we were looking for. And good job to all those Ds we were.
You get a feel for how that went. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot.
It was a fun night, Nathan.
Well, we still got one more to go. I'm really excited for all these battles. At the top end with the Premier Division you talked about. Did you say it's within 1 point in the women's side of things? Is that right?
Four teams tied. Four teams tied.
And I think we're going to see a lot of that across all the categories. So that's what I'm excited about, is that we got 4 down. One more to go to have 4 down across all the communities, as well as the Premier Division. 4 to go, and a lot on the line still for this final half of the season. Pretty awesome to see.
There's a word, parity, which is what every league looks for, where you've got any team can win on any given race or any given Sunday. And we are getting really close to that with ZRL. And that is maybe the best indicator of all for the league, is that we're getting to that point. You don't want a league where you've got 2 super teams and then a bunch of have-beens or never-weres. Now we've got everybody's in the battle. It's awesome racing. Every division around the globe. Good time to be stoked for ZRL.
Yeah, it is. Very, very cool. And we'll see you guys in just a little bit. These going to be America's West. Go check out all the results, WTRL.racing. Check out everything that WTRL is up to. There's still plenty of other things going on as well. Super League Tri. We've got the Zwift Running League, Zwift Racing League. They're doing a lot of awesome stuff when it comes to competition out on Zwift. We'll see you just a little bit. I'm going to be on productions. Dave's going to be hanging out right where he's at as usual. And it's going to be Kate Bates in my spot for the West. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And as always, you know what you say. Right on.